deal from the Senate unless it locks down the southern border. He joins us now live. Congressman, good morning. It's always a pleasure to have you on the show. How you doing?
Well, it's still a little cold here in Tennessee. We're in East Tennessee anyway. We're thawing out from about 9 inches of snow.
Well, you took your coat off before we went live, so there's your first mistake. You should put that back on. Hey, when you say lock down the southern border, what exactly does that look like for you? What's on your wish list?
I believe a wall would have to be there. You know, our boat's taking on water, ma'am, and this bunch in Washington doesn't even want to bail. You've got to bail it, but you've also got to plug the leak. And the only way we can plug that leak is the wall. And, you know, the Democrats, Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats blocked the dadgum thing back when President Trump was trying to do it. He wanted $4 billion. And they said, oh, no, you'll bust the economy. And then we've sent over $114 unchecked billion to Ukraine so they can block their border between them and Russia. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. This group is for, you know, and honestly, they say, well, how's this? I think they're going to use it to help throw an election if we're not careful. And I had to say, Burchett, how are you going to do that? Well, you on mail-in ballots, you don't show an ID. And there's clearly, there are going to be cases of that. Yeah. And you got to fix some of the 10 million people that have come over in the last 3 years are going to be involved in that.
And Congressman, take me inside these negotiations, if you will, because from an outsider's perspective, it certainly doesn't seem like a lot is getting done. You know, it seems like everybody shows up and Republicans, you know, not a lot of concessions happening either. Republicans show up, they say, hey, we're not budging again. Dems say we're not budging either. Cool. Same time, same place, you know, next week or in a couple of days. How long can this go on? Just in perpetuity, or what's the deal?
I think it will until their political polls show them that they need to do something about it. You know, we passed H.R. 2, which would actually fix this problem. And Chuck Schumer hasn't done a dadgum thing about it. He just lets it sit over there. And so that would fix it. We've already been to the table. They need to, if they don't like H.R. 2, send it back with something else. This plan they have allowing thousands of people through a day, to me, is deciding the number of loops in your noose. We're still going to get hung. And we're going to get hung with this because you're looking at anywhere from $150 to $400 billion a year to keep these people up every year. And yet, you know, we're not providing for our own veterans. We're kicking them out of nursing homes and facilities. And like New York, where kids are getting kicked out of their schools so they can house folks. It's eventually going to come to people's houses and say, you're going to have to house these people.
A lot of people on both sides of the aisle would agree with you that this is a crisis. You see New York crying out for help, too. Lastly, Congressman, can I just get your take on the breaking news that came down yesterday from the Supreme Court? You know, they ruled that federal agents, Border Patrol agents, are now allowed to cut down that concertina wire that's along that 29-mile portion of the Rio Grande. Not only your response to that, but can you elaborate on the word allow? When they say allow, is that a directive to cut it down or cut it down if you want? Because a lot of those border agents, they won't tell you on camera, but they think the Biden administration has done a disservice when it comes to immigration. So elaborate on what that means.
They have, ma'am. If we would just allow our border agents just to follow the law, they could handle a lot of that. It's because what they're doing right now is not allowing them to do their job. And that's why you see the demoralization of our very brave and they're wonderful, our border agents. And, you know, I believe the Supreme Court ruled that, you know, it's kind of weird that Texas can't even enforce their own border. I think that when they say they allow, it's like is may or shall, the difference there. And I believe they're just saying that they may be able to do this. It's not that they have to do this. But I think if I was Texas, I'd still push it because I think that they have a right to preserve them. They're just overrun. That's I've been down to that spot right there where you're showing in your video, and it's just ridiculous.
Well, they'll definitely keep on trying. Governor Abbott will keep on trying, that's for sure. The fight does not end here. Congressman Burchett, as always, thanks for joining us, sir. We appreciate your time.
Thank you, ma'am. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, we'll see you soon.